Throughout his life, Karl enjoyed working on portrait busts. This exceptional portrait of a Malayan boy was completed in 1939 while we were living in Singapore. The young man was a ball boy at the courts where Karl was playing tennis. It was immediately admired, and in 1939 a journalist in the Straits Times wrote the following. Hitler came to Vienna, and in those few hours Karl Duldig, sculptor and sportsman, lost his career, his fortune and his home. He is now in Singapore, literally carving out a new life for himself with his chisel, his long fingers, and the clay he almost makes speak. People see with their eyes, but Karl Duldig sees with his eyes and his hands. This photo shows my father at work on the head of the Malayan ball boy. The photo was taken in the studio of the Italian sculptor Rudolfo Norli, who had kindly given Karl space to work. Robert Payne, a young Englishman who then worked for the British Admiralty in Singapore, immediately commissioned a bronze cast of the Malay boy. Payne later became famous. His books published by Thames and Hudson included a biography of Gandhi, as well as books on Caravaggio and Leonardo, examples of which are on the shelves of the bookcase in this room. In September 1940, our family was classified as enemy aliens by the British authorities in Singapore, and we were deported from Singapore to Australia on the Queen Mary, then a converted troop ship. Together with approximately 250 other refugees, we were then interned into Tura, Victoria. However, until the fall of Singapore to the Japanese in February 1942, Karl received regular, censored letters from his friends in Singapore, including Robert Payne, but this contact was lost during the war. In 2006, I received an email with an attached image of a bronze Malay boy that included my father's clear signature. The email came from the Joseph family who lived in Singapore, and they told an amazing story. When the Japanese invaded Singapore in 1942, Mr. Morrison Joseph, who at the time was a driver for the British Admiralty, took Robert Payne to safety outside Singapore. In appreciation, Robert Payne gave Mr. Joseph the Karl Duldig sculpture, Malay Boy. Mr. Morrison Joseph had since passed away, but the bronze portrait bust was kept by his family for all the intervening decades. In 2009, this first Singapore bronze cast of my father's Malay Boy sculpture was acquired by the Singapore Art Museum from the Joseph family for its permanent collection. A happy ending to an incredible story.